Okay. Yeah. So, friends, body shaming has been a topic that is really prevalent in our society, and I think personally, I can say that I have also grown up in the settings where comments, making such remarks was very, very common, and it was always something that was said very uh, uh, you know in supposed to be funny, and all of that, but the damage that it would cause to people was something that I realized much later personally, and so I felt deeply convicted, and I felt that this was something which is very, very important, really, for us, because a lot of us are just not aware of this topic of body shaming and what it can and the harm it actually can do to people. So we are very thankful to God that we have Dr. Jamila Koshy to lead us in this session today, and for most of us would know her, but maybe if there's just one or two people who might not know her, I'll just give a bit of an introduction. Dr. Jamila Koshy is a psychiatrist by practice. She's graduated from the Armed Forces Medical College, AFMC Pune, and completed a postgraduate studies in psychological medicine from the University of Bombay. She has served in the Indian Army, and she's written many books and journals on different topics, side by side, talking families, should I care? These are some of the books, and she's also taken many initiatives to be part of group writing on issues of contemporary concern. So we are really thankful that Dr. Jamila is here once again today to lead us on this topic, of body shaming, and after that we will have a time of interaction. Okay, over to Dr. Jamila. Thank you. You're on mute. I think you're on mute. Oh,
Thank you, Pastor
yeah.
W. And yes, I'm glad you're doing this session because it is a really important session. It's something which all of us would have faced at some time or the other. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you.
So I was saying that this is something which we would all have faced at some time or the other. And we all have some kind of questions about our bodies. And we all have heard or seen or read about others who've been questioned or uh, criticized or ridiculed for their bodies. So this is something which we really need to talk about because human beings are tied to their bodies very closely. But we are not completely only our bodies, but our bodies are very important. So it's very important to have a clear idea of how we should view our bodies and how we should respond to other people's bodies as well. So this topic it's become quite a social media thing these days. There's a lot of posts which you'd see about it. It's not so much discussed in academic circles that much, maybe a little bit. Shame in a wider context is studied a lot, but body shaming by itself is only recently being studied as in an academic kind of way. But anyway, let's talk and share some of the things that we would have learned, seen, and we will have a time of interaction as well. So, what is body shaming? Okay, as from the picture that Abhijit put up, which is here, right? We would all have seen and understood, and I'm sure we would have vibed with these pictures. Somebody calling a guy without hair baldy, making comments about a woman who's thin, a woman who's fat, a woman who's curvy, a dark skinned person, or a person with a flat nose, or different kinds of teeth, or, something different about their facial features. Sometimes even wearing specs becomes an issue, or being short becomes an issue, as all these pictures have shown us. So, some kind of unsolicited or negative comments about the target person's body. Okay. In brief, this is it. In detail, if you want to look, it could be a comment. It could be something which is sort of judging the person or criticizing, particularly humiliating them, okay, talking down to them about it. Sometimes the thing is, as Abhijit said, it's said in fun. So it is kind of something that you tease someone about. It's a teasing issue. Mostly this will be about people's weight. That's the commonest, but it could be about anything in your physical appearance. Height, weight, as we said, body parts. Okay, if somebody is shaped a little differently, maybe they have, some part of their body is bigger. Sometimes, their hands or feet or anything, a big nose, anything can be the butt of this kind of body shape. Sometimes it could be even the clothes you wear. Okay, as Billie Eilish said in that song, no, if I wear what is comfortable, I'm not a woman. If I take off my clothes, I get called a slut. So whatever you wear, somebody will have something to criticize. Now, it's important to note that it may not necessarily mean to harm the target person. Okay. These comments may be made either in fun or even sometimes as well meant advice to the person, or just a comment in passing. It may not necessarily have a malicious intent or a idea of criticizing or something. But even then, that would become body shaming because it has the potential to be viewed as something which is insulting. It can cause offense. It may induce shame. Even though you didn't mean to, you might end up being very offensive and negative. Okay, so we will look at some of those examples later on. But here, once again, these are all comments, for instance, which are very clearly judging and critical. No? When you call someone baldy, here, okay, this may be said in fun. You're teasing somebody about it. This is a teasing kind of issue. But if you say something about she needs to eat, now maybe you're trying to be helpful. You need to eat, you're too thin. And sometimes you'll have people saying things like, "Kyun khana nahi milta hai ghar mein?" Or did your parents ate up all your food? They didn't give you anything to eat. So it's said in that kind of a joking tone sometimes. Often though it is how can you be a model? You're so fat. Or how can he be an athlete? He's so fat. So there is a critical element there as well. And of course, brides and people in the public eye, the bride is in the public eye, will be particularly scrutinized for all their physical features. And there will be a lot of these comments which are made. And this has become sort of natural. And this is kind of there all over. In fact, we may all have been guilty of this. We may all have made comments which, even if not deliberately hurting, could have hurt somebody else. Okay, it may have hurt somebody else. It may have come across as offensive. It may have been critical. It may have been, the other person may have responded with some kind of anger. We may have said, I didn't mean anything, but that sort of thing may have happened. We may all have been victims of this. We may all remember some episode, something that somebody said about our body. I don't think there is anyone. I'd like to know actually. You can put it in the chat box if any of you have never experienced this. Just put it in the chat box if you have never experienced it. I would really be curious to know whether out of the, how many? 17 people here. Has anyone not experienced this?
Yeah. Anyone here, friends? If you
Put it
just
in the
put.
chat box if you have not experienced it. I'm just curious to know, out of 17 people, is there anyone who has not experienced some kind of comment about their body which they remember? I'll tell you an example. When I was a kid, I was a little plump, okay, and that has probably been there. So I remember a comment when I was quite little, someone saying that, "Oh, look at those pudgy little legs," something like that, okay. And I was pretty young, but I remember it was said in the sense that, "Oh, so cute, so cute," that sort of thing. But I remember the word pudgy or something to do with fat, something to do with plump, and it stuck in my head. Okay, so this is from a very young age. Not experience in professional life, during school days, yes, exactly. So everybody would have experienced it at some time or the other, some kind of teasing, some kind of, comments about your body. Out of 17 people, there's nobody who has said that they have not been victims of this. And probably we have all also made some comments like this. Okay. Now, there are some statistics just to complete this understanding. There are various studies which have been done. And one study, for instance, showed that up to 90% of women and 70% of men have said that they have had comments made about their body, okay, which shamed them, which caused body shaming. In a school study, 45% reported body shaming. And it's interesting, this is extremely interesting, that this was maximum among boys in co-ed schools and least among girls in single gender schools. Okay, so boys in co-ed schools were the people who were victimized most often, maybe by the other boys, maybe by the girls, I don't know, that was not clear. In single gender schools, apparently the girls suffered a little less of this. But when one gets older, usually it is a little more among women. Okay, so that is the usual pattern. Okay. Okay. Now, we need to understand that this body shaming can be very prevalent in some areas of life. For instance, among athletes, among professions where the body is very important. For instance, models, film stars. Among these kind of people, there's a lot of comments about body and how you look and whether you put on weight, whether your skin is fine, whether you've got wrinkles. All these kind of things will be examined and scrutinized and you'll be put under a microscope. I believe Rohit Sharma, the cricketer, was severely criticized because he had put on weight at one point. Vidya Balan is an extremely talented actress, but because she's always had a little issue with her weight, there have been various comments about Vidya Balan about her weight and all so on and so forth. Now, these pictures, who's this? Everybody knows her?
Yeah,
I actually didn't know this lady. Hello? Yeah, this is Serena Williams, exactly. This is another female athlete, okay? I forget her name, Rhonda something. Both of them were severely criticized for their body, okay? So there were always all sorts of comments made about Serena Williams because they said, does anyone remember the big issue that happened about Serena Williams' body shaming? Yes, maybe both says yes. Somebody else also remembers. People kept saying that she looks so manly. You look so manly. She doesn't look feminine. And there would be all sorts of comments made about how Serena doesn't look feminine. Apparently, this athlete as well. Now, the point is that Serena was a brilliant, brilliant athlete, right? She has scored more Grand Slams than anybody else. And yet, these comments were made about her that she looks manly. She doesn't look feminine. Because she has more, because she's muscled and she's fit that way. These are the comments that were made about her. Now, does anyone recognize this person? Another famous film star? Anyone? Yes, he looks a little different here. This was Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay.
Yeah, Shelty will recognize it.
Yes, Leonardo. Yes, Shelty will recognize. This is Leonardo. Apparently, at some point, Leonardo put on weight. Okay. And this is the comment that was made by somebody, okay? Some film website had the audacity to put this up. They said, "The great facts be. Bloated Leo swims with model." This was the kind of comment that was made because, again, a very brilliant, gifted actor was vacationing with his girlfriend and he apparently put on some weight and he's called the great facts be. So this is, of course, body shaming. So let's not think that this is only about women. It's not. So a lot of the bulk of the body shaming happens in public with women, but men are equally, they also have a lot of this problem, particularly in the field of, as I said, athleticism, games, modeling, film stars, all these people are very prone to it. There are also phases of life when this is maximum. For instance, in adolescence, when you're going to school, as someone said, this is the time when adolescents can be extremely cruel to each other about their looks, about whether someone has hair, okay? If a girl has a little bit of a hair on her upper lip, she will get mercilessly teased. If a boy is not muscular enough, he will get teased, okay? If someone is fat or thin or whatever it is, adolescence can be a time where there's a lot of body image issues because of this body shaming. Marriage, as people get into the preparatory state for marriage, or if they're considering a relationship, or if they are sort of looking for someone, or if they fall in love with someone, or whatever, during that phase when people form partnerships, there is a lot of focus on the body, and this body shaming happens a lot. And then there's motherhood. Okay. I remember I myself have something which stuck in my mind for 33 years. Okay. I had just had my kids and I was probably around 30 years old. And I remember I was just 30 years old, right? And I remember once when I came to some place, I don't remember where it was, whether it was church or a wedding or somewhere, somebody commented that, oh, I just saw this matronly woman walking in. I wondered who it was. And I thought to myself, matronly? Yeah, am I looking matronly? And that was, the comment that was made. So matronly obviously means somebody who's a sort of plump or looks motherly or looks older and with a more mature figure or whatever it means. But obviously it was not, it was something which caused me to question how my body is. Okay? So all of us have probably experienced something like this. Now, what causes this? So there's social and psychological causes to it, okay? Social causes are there is a very unhealthy focus on physical looks, and this is common in most societies. People judge each other by their looks, right? So there's a focus on looks. How do you look? How does the bride look? What were you wearing? What are the clothes? How tall is he? How many abs do you have? Or whatever, 6 packs or 12 packs or whatever it is. And this is learned from the families. From a young age itself, either the parents or the extended family, somebody will be commenting about it. And I remember again an issue where a child is just born, okay, a newborn child, and somebody said, "Oh, you, this is a dark baby," a newborn child, and the comment coming from somebody at a newborn child and its mother is, "Oh, you have given birth to a dark baby." So imagine how the mother would have to go through, that, and imagine as the child grows up, the kind of comments and all that which would keep coming. So there are these impossible standards of beauty and perfection which have been normalized, that everybody needs to look like this. There is a 36, 26, 36 figure for women, which is ideal. And there is a muscular, six-pack abs, extremely V-shaped body, which is what men should have. There is a certain color which is good, and there's a certain color which is bad. There is a certain height which is great. So the Delhi police will only take men over 6 feet tall. So I don't see any reason why that should be done, because they have weapons with them. They don't really need to be 6 feet tall. But that's the standard, which this impossible standard, which is forced in so many, many settings. Then, of course, there's a social media influence where people present the best picture of themselves always. So you take a picture of yourself looking good, with makeup on, with your best clothes on, dining out at this beautiful restaurant, and everything is like tip top and perfect. So you're looking good, you're taking your best angle, okay? And if it's not good, you delete it and you take another one so that you look a little thinner, whatever it is. Social media influence is a doctored, often photoshopped kind of picture. But this is normalized, but we don't realize that people take so much effort to look their best in social media. And this kind of influence can again cause a lot of problem in the whole body image area. Now, there are cultural and ethnic differences as well. For instance, this whole thing about weight is very particularly strong among the Caucasian white community. Okay, so in the US particularly, there is a lot of emphasis on this. So from a very young age, girls are forced into this kind of picture, that you have to be this kind of body, you have to look like this, you have to present yourself like this. So there are cultural differences. This is not quite as strong they say, among the African American community, where skin tone is more important perhaps than the weight per se, because their body structure is different. Similarly, in India, we would not be perhaps as much bothered about weight as we would be about color. Color becomes the bigger thing. Color is the hugely important thing. Okay, so body shaming for the color that you wear, the color of your skin, this is the most important in the South Asian Indian context. So there are these cultural differences, and we need to understand this. Okay, so what are the psychological causes? These are social causes, and these all act within the person to make them start believing this body shaming and acting that way as well. People have learned to judge others. So we have internalized that we judge people by the first impression. We internalize this, that if someone is, we might even have a faulty thought pattern about it. So fat people are indisciplined. That's why they're fat, because they don't control how much they eat. We forget that often there is a medical problem there, that obesity is sometimes a metabolic problem. Okay. Dark people are impure, right? So the connotation is what? That if you are fair, you're from the purer sections of society. Darkness is associated with impurity. Okay. So this very wrong and faulty thinking has been internalized by the people, and that is why they act this way. They make comments about, oh, this is a dark baby or whatever it is. So in a sense, you're dehumanizing people, okay? And on the web, there is this anonymity. There is the whole impersonality of the web, like those comments which could be made about Leo, right? They could write that the great Fatsby or whatever it was, because you're writing it on a website, you will never meet the guy, he will never meet you. So it's okay to do this online trolling and this online kind of cyber criticism because it appears impersonal. Okay, so what happens if you body shame? If you're doing this body shaming, it often leads to the person developing a condition called body shame, right? So the person starts disliking some aspect of their body. And here it goes deeper into a very, very core area of your being. You start hating yourself. You start seeing yourself as unattractive. You start seeing yourself as undesirable to anybody. You start seeing yourself as inferior to others, inferior to the world. That my whole being is inferior because of these particular comments, because I'm fat or thin or tall, or I wear specs, or I've got hair on my lip, or my face is a little different, or whatever it is, right? So these kind of feelings and thoughts can come about. Body shame is a very, it's something which, which is very common. Many of us struggle with this, okay? Many of us have problems with body shape and can lead to other conditions, which we will come to. Who are particularly prone to this? Being overweight is one. And as I said, those with a socially unacceptable, those with skin problems, okay? Abhijit shared something about a bride who had the skin problem. I don't know whether you shared it with the rest of the group, Abhijit. But yes, skin problems can often be this kind of, body shaming issues. People can comment, people can, laugh, or they can sort of treat you with a different kind of attitude. If you have acne, for instance, it can lead to a lot of body shaming and body shame. Young people with acne often end up very, isolated. They can keep away from people because they think they're ugly. They think that they are inferior. They think that God has not been kind to them. Psoriasis, eczema, alopecia is losing your hair. So all these kind of skin problems can cause people to have this kind of problem. Physical conditions causing body changes. Like for instance, if you have a spinal problem, people who have a bend in spine, scoliosis, this can cause them to be very short, and also it can cause little difficulties in walking, difficulties in the alignment of the shoulders. So this can lead to people staring, people making comments, and the whole body shame issue again. Being underweight and extremes in height is one thing, and we should remember that a little bit more for women, not much, but there is a slight edge, and younger rather than older persons are more prone to all these issues. Now, what happens? What are the mental health consequences of this? And it's very important because it really can cause pretty severe mental health consequences. When there is body shame, when the body shaming leads to the person themselves internalizing this shame, feeling that, yes, there is something wrong with me because I'm fat or thin or too tall or too short, or my eyes are not okay, or I have some hair, or I don't have hair, or I have the skin problem, or, I am dark, or I am whatever it is. I have that vitiligo where you become very patchily fair, whatever it is. This can lead to a lot of body shame and feelings of inferiority, feelings of low self-esteem. Not only that, it can also lead to a lack of social connection. See, if you have these problems, if you feel that you are inferior, if you feel that my body is not attractive, I am not an attractive person, then they have done studies which show that these young people do not want to, they're not as open to connecting socially as others. They tend to keep away. And others also do not make friends with them as easily as they would make with other people. Okay, so this lack of social connection happens. And if you have low self-esteem and a lack of social connection and this hating of your body and inferiority, you're obviously going to be very prone to depression. Okay, so depression and this constant, struggling with a feeling of hate and a feeling of not valuing yourself, this can be a real problem. It can cause a lack of motivation and actually worsening of the obesity. If a person is plump and they are body shamed, then they keep away from people, they don't think well of themselves, they go into depression, and that itself can cause a further lack of motivation and worsening of the obesity. So it becomes a very, a spiral, downward spiral. It can also cause eating disorders. And these, again, are very common in the West, not as common here, but as we proceed, it will get more common. So anorexia, bulimia, all these things are things that people struggle with. Can you imagine Princess Diana herself had an eating disorder? She was seen as one of the most beautiful women on the planet. This is how she was called, right? And she was adored by so many, and the paparazzi were always after her. And yet she herself felt this body shame and eating disorders and depression and all the rest of it. Okay. Now, I'm going to give this time to you for you all to put comments into the chat. We're going to look at all these various comments which people make. And we're going to see whether, is this body shaming or is this okay? Sometimes inadvertently, the things that we say, as I said, turn out to be comments which can cause shame, which can cause a sense of offense or insult to the person who is targeted. Okay. So please put into the chat box. If someone says you've lost so much weight, great work. What do you think about this comment? Yes? Anybody wants to share?
Yeah. Can they unmute and answer also?
You've lost so much weight.
Okay. Yeah.
Great work. What do you think about this comment? Can you hear me, Abhijit?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Can they unmute and answer
You're
also?
not audible. Hello?
Yeah.
It could mean that we were very fat earlier.
Yes, exactly. So when you say you lost so much weight, great work. So that comment itself can be a sort of hidden body shaming. Okay, other person to say that, oh, so I was very fat earlier, is it? So it can be a little offensive. Okay, so it might be better to word this differently. Okay, so could you choose? Okay, we'll come to that. Okay, I love that color shirt. Is that an okay comment, or would that be in any sense body shaming?
Uh,
I think that's just an opinion about that color.
It's just an opinion. Yes, so this would not have any connotation. So this statement is okay. What about this? Oh, you've grown so thin. Is it okay to tell someone, oh, you've grown so thin? It could be said as a congratulatory comment. Okay. It may be
You're
said
not
as a
looking that good.
congratulatory comment, or it may mean that, oh, you're not looking so good, right? But even if you put it as a congratulatory comment, what you're saying then is, it is good to be thin. You're supposed to be thin. You should not be fat. You've grown thin. Great. Okay. So you're revealing your own attitude to the body, which is that bodies should be thin. Okay. And uh, this is just not a right idea. Okay. There are different shapes of bodies, and some people will not be thin. So to always make this comment as a congratulatory comment may not make sense. Okay, so you'll be very careful when you say this as well. What about looking fabulous? If someone says you're looking fabulous,
Compliment.
is that okay? It's a compliment without any, there's nothing there, right? You're not saying you've lost so much weight, therefore you're looking fabulous. You're not saying you've grown so thin, therefore you're looking fabulous. So if you just say, and therefore, you're looking fabulous, okay? Have you been ill? You're looking pulled down.
Anyone?
Concern about health, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be a concern about their health.
It could be a concern about their health. Exactly. It could be a concern about their health. But then again, suppose they hadn't been ill, okay? And if you say that you're looking pulled down, that's the problem, no? You have to, you're saying you're looking pulled down. What we're saying is you're not looking as good as before. You're looking tired. Something is wrong with you. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you say that. Suppose that person had not been ill and they are just what is normal for them, they may feel very bad if you say that. Okay, so you have to be careful. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes our comments may be completely innocuous from our side, but it may come across the other person as being, be careful. You look so much better in a sari than in pants. That's another loaded comment, isn't it? Is anyone facing an audio lag?
Sometimes your audio is breaking up, but no lag though.
Abhijit, should I stop?
Yeah. No, I think you carry on, no problem. Sometimes there's an audio lag in between from your side, but it's okay now. Go ahead, please.
Amita said yes, she's
Yeah.
facing an audio lag. Okay, maybe I'll just, shall I try getting in from my mobile and speaking from there?
Yeah, we could try that.
Yeah, I'll try that. I'll switch this off.
I don't seem to have an issue. So,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine actually. You don't need to change.
Yeah, it just happens for a split second, maybe, or sometimes. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it depends on who is saying this, the sari and pants thing. If someone who knows you very well, maybe it can be taken in a way that, okay, fine.
Yes.
But again, I
See,
think it is
everybody may not react the same way to it. Everybody may not react the same way. It does have the potential to be seen as an offensive comment.
mhm. But I think most of this seems to be gender based, I don't think men have an issue with this. That's my take. Most of the comments here seems to be gender based.
So I think there are some, right, working out man.
Well, you lost so much weight, for instance, can be about anybody.
Right.
Okay.
But
And the
that could
next
be
one,
taken.
two,
Okay, sorry.
two steps down is about a man. We can come to that. The third from the bottom is definitely about a man. Okay. And the last
Which one?
one would also be very much applicable to guys with acne. Okay. So I'll come to
Sorry,
that. There
which
are
one?
lots of there are
Yeah.
lots which are also about men. So you could just probably hold on to that
Yeah. Yeah. Third from the bottom. Yeah. Yeah. Left mark.
Oh, okay.
But
6 pack.
let's just finish even to guys as well. But men also need to understand that women face this a lot more, probably, which is why there are more comments about women. But women wearing saris hear this a lot. You look so much better in a sari than in pants. So what is the implication? The implication is often it can be slightly offensive. We need to understand that many, it's sort of implying that either you have, you put on weight or something like that. There is some connotation which can be taken. I'm not saying it has to be taken. So I'm just saying that we need to keep this in mind if we are making the comment. Would you prefer to say that or just to say that sari is lovely? Which is a better comment to make? Or you're looking lovely in that sari?
I think that the last one is better.
The second one is better. Okay, it has no,
Yeah.
there's no comparative element there. So what it's saying is, otherwise, I saw you in pants. You didn't look so good in that. You're looking better in this. So there is an element of body image issue which is coming up there as well.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Working out man, swap that belly for 6 packs. Okay, now this is for men. Men get this sort of comment that, oh, you've been working out, your belly is gone. Okay, is this okay to say?
Perfectly okay.
Perfectly okay. Some people may think it's perfectly okay, but there is a comment about your belly.
I
It
mean,
is
it
actually
depends
a
on who's
compliment.
saying that, actually. It depends on who's saying it. Like, among close friends, it's not an issue at all. I personally feel.
It's not an issue perhaps for you. Okay, it's good that it's not an issue for you, but could it be an issue for someone else who's very sensitive about their weight?
No, but it is a compliment, right? Getting 6 pack is a compliment. If had it been a fat person and somebody says you got a 6 pack, that's actually a compliment. Anybody gives a compliment, I think men should be okay with that.
I'm not sure men are quite so okay with that also, because men have also commented about feeling bad about being body shamed. Because what
Maybe,
you're saying is you had a belly before.
so that's fine. You worked on it. That shows discipline. So it's actually a compliment. I don't know. I will take it as a compliment, and I think men should take it as a compliment. No, somebody complimenting their discipline and hard work. It's great. I mean, fantastic. Somebody tells that to me, then I'll be very happy.
Okay, suppose you lose the belly. Suppose you lose the 6 packs and your belly comes back.
Yeah.
Are you going to feel bad?
Oh, definitely, I'll feel bad, and if somebody tells me that, I'll accept it. I myself will feel bad. I don't have a 6 pack. I don't have a 6 pack. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I'm pointing out here that there is then a focus on the body which is there.
Yeah, actually, our body is a very integral part of our personality, right? So, yeah,
Yes,
it is there.
the body is a part of our personality, but making others feel bad about their body or commenting about their body, that's what body shaming is.
Mm.
Uh,
Right. Right. Yeah.
is it that any comment is bad? Because see, any comment about anybody's body, is it body shaming? I don't know, because
It might come to that. Yeah, exactly. You have to be very careful how you comment about people's bodies. That's exactly what I was trying to come to.
Yeah. Okay. Let's understand. Let's finish the session and then.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I wanted this discussion only, Abhijit. It's perfectly all
Okay.
right. See, this third sentence, can we change it so that it is purely a compliment? We
which
can
one?
change that. The same comment that we're talking about, no? Working out man swapped the belly for 6 packs. Can we change it so that it is purely a compliment, and there's no implication of body shaming there? Just like the sari comment, rather than saying you look better in sari than in pants, we just said, oh, that sari is great, you're looking great. You're removing the comparative element.
Mm.
Now
Oh,
here
okay.
also, can we change that comment? You just have to say, working out man, you look great. That's all you need to say. You don't have to say swapped the belly for 6 packs.
Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe yes. That might be a better way to say, maybe there might be some people who are too sensitive. Yeah.
But
That might
in
be
I agree.
general,
said, right? That's what I'm trying to cut. That's
in
what I'm
general, I
trying to
think
comment.
men are a
Okay.
little
Yeah, I'm
less
glad we
sensitive to these kind of comments. And I think, like
well, it would
Binoy was
depend.
pointing out, this would be taken as a compliment by most men. Maybe very few, if someone had been bullied from childhood for their overweight or something like that, maybe that person will
Yes, of
take
course.
this as an offense.
There are
But
plenty of
otherwise,
boys who have been
yeah.
bullied. There are plenty of boys who have been bullied for being overweight. And there are plenty of
Hmm.
boys who get bullied for not having six packs, for being weak. So there is a standard for men as well. Okay, we'll come to that again. Let's look at the next one. Oh, your daughter's beautiful like a Barbie.
I think that's a pressure on that baby to look like a Barbie all the time.
There is a lot of pressure there. No, you're getting that idea of beauty comparing with this. This is beauty. All right. What about this comment? This could go for guys with acne as well as girls. Your skin's really cleared up.
For me, I
You're
think it's the context, context and the relationship that you have with the other person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. The context and the relationship will make it easier to take comments like this. Okay. So this could be purely a compliment, but you need to be just careful that that see what happens is, suppose the person has another outbreak of acne, right? And if you're saying here your skin's clear up, wow, great, great, and all, then if the person has another outbreak, so what we are then saying is that we notice when you're looking good, so it's nice to look. So again, the whole thing is acne bad, clear skin good. We are making that idea, no?
Hmm.
And do we really need to agree with that? Is acne bad, clear skin good?
There's also the flip side, right? Like, for example, this whole idea of overweight people coming and saying, we are in great shape. And I don't know if you listen to Matt Walsh. I think it's the another extreme where people say, they kind of normalize being obese, saying that, this is how I am. This is my personality. I'm going to stick
Okay,
this way.
we'll come to that later. We will come to that later. Okay, that is a reaction. So let's come to that later. Let's go to the next point, which is somebody who says, birthday girl looking really pretty.
Is that a comment or is that body shaming? That's the question.
It's just a comment. There's always
Okay.
an overlap, and some of the statements are completely innocuous and completely okay. I mix them up so that we can discuss it. Okay.
I find it's okay.
So,
Hello, Abhijit. I think you're breaking up, doctor. Doctor, you're
Yeah,
breaking
yeah,
up.
yeah. Okay. I think you were breaking up just now because I thought it was
okay.
at my end. Yeah.
Just let me in on the other screen.
Right.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. We can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Clearer.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, very much.
So I'm just saying that, see, the whole thing is how much we want to talk about prettiness and beauty and all that, because that is something which
particularly women are always faced with, women are praised for looking pretty, men are praised for doing things. Okay. So be aware of this. This whole emphasis on looks starts from this sort of thing. So, okay, once in a while saying it is okay. Okay. For instance, I would think probably the one time you might want to say it is at someone's wedding, because they've taken a lot of effort to look nice. But normally speaking, it would make more sense to just say something else complimentary. Okay, that's my personal feeling. We'll move on from there. You've shed all the pregnancy pounds. Same thing. You're commenting that you had put on weight earlier. You're losing it now. How will we get a guy for you? You're so tall. Tall girls hear this all the time. Any comments you can put into the chat box? Okay, we'll move on quickly from here. Have you tried XYZ cream? It really helped my pimples and reduced the tan too.
We are indicating that they have pimples.
You're
Like they
indicating
might
they
not
have
be
pimples?
aware of it before, but yeah.
Yeah, they
making
may
it-
not want to talk about it with you. It again depends here how close you are with the person. And when you're saying reduce the tan too, you're also saying that you're not, you're looking, your color is whatever. So this helps my tan and brings down the tan, makes you fairer and helps the pimples. So you're making again comments which are all about the body. Now this comment, what about this comment? Is that your sister? Your mom must have had that milk with saffron when she was expecting you. Milk with saffron is often given to pregnant women so that they will have a fair child. Okay. So this kind of comment sometimes is made by older people. So the comment is about the sister, that your sister is much darker than you. How did that happen? Do all South Indians have curly hair? Is that okay to say that? Has anyone faced this this comment? Angeline said that was a horrible comment. Which one, Angeline, was horrible?
The Kesar Doodh.
About the sister?
Saffron.
Saffron, yeah, correct, exactly. Yeah, yes, horrible comment, I agree. Okay, do all South Indians have curly hair is something which often gets said, and it's sort of putting all South Indians in one bracket, okay? It's not exactly body shaming, but it's again noticing curly hair. Is it enough to just say, I love your curly hair? You have to think about that, okay? Okay, this one. This can again go to a lot of guys as well. I saw you with your chinky friend the other day. What about this comment? Is there body shaming involved?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This is stereotyping. It's quite racist, actually, I would say.
It's racist. It's also body shaming. You're talking about the eyes, no? Chinky friend is all about the eyes being slanted, the shape of the eyes. So there is an element of body shaming as well over there and racism. Okay. So yes, that comment is also, okay, pretty close to body shaming and racism. Don't you wax? Is that body shaming? Yeah, it is. You're commenting about the other person's hair, okay, the hair on the body. Okay, so I just put a lot of these questions up because I wanted to show that there's an overlap from normal to something which shows our focus on looks, our focus on, how the physical appearance should be. And sometimes even comments which appear to be complimentary may have a sort of hidden body shaming element there. If we are not careful, someone might find them offensive. Okay. So we need to just think about this. Okay. There's no hard and fast rule about any of these things, but just think about it as we go on. All right. All right. So how do you respond to body shaming? I think we should process this and check negative sentiments and thoughts about our body very early. And this has to be taught to adolescence itself, that this is where your comment, I think Binoy made that comment, that people go the other extreme and say, what you said about people
body positivity movement,
saying that I'm fine the way I am. But that might be because sometimes there are people who cannot control their bodies, right? For instance, if you have hypothyroidism, or if you have some kind of a steroid problem, you have to take certain drugs for your, some mental health issue that you have, or whatever it is, certain drugs or certain physical conditions or certain body types, they might be big built, okay? They might end up having a certain physical features, right, which are different from others. So we need to be able to accept this, that some people may swing the other extreme and say, I'm fine the way I am, don't comment about my body. They have the right to say that. They don't have to, they're not looking for unsolicited advice and comments from anybody. That may be why, because if they've heard a lot of it, they may react like that. But in any case, one should check negative sentiments and thoughts about the body quite early, particularly in adolescence itself. Otherwise, those adolescents will be prone to depression. Now, do not allow yourself or anyone else to be reduced to physical appearance, because we are so much more than our physical appearance. Our body is one thing. And, but then we need to rethink who says that we have to be fair, who says we have to be tall, who says one should have shiny hair, who says that this is beauty and this is not beauty. These are all just made up standards, no? Okay. So we should not allow ourselves to be limited by these things. We should love ourselves as whole people, body and mind and everything. We need to affirm that. Sometimes our bodies may have deficits. Okay, our body may be, have some defects or whatever it is. We may have a certain skin problem, whatever it is. We have to accept our body and be okay with it. We take reasonable care, but do not allow it to become the major part of our life. We need to think positively and love ourselves anyway. Okay. And don't get into reading all social media and being influenced by all people's comments and this whole emphasis on the body, which is there in social media. Discuss it with others often and get help if it does not lift. So these were all the things I wanted to share. And I am handing it now back to you, Abhijit. And we can.
Yeah, can you unshare the screen, please?
Yeah.
Okay, friends.